Engaging the community since 1970. This is WIS Awareness.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on Awareness on this Sunday. I'm your host, Leland Pender. And today we are talking about the South Carolina African American Heritage Foundation, who has undergone a rebranding. They are now known as the WeGoja Foundation. With more on what that means and some of the changes that come along with this rebranding effort, good Sunday morning to Dawson-House. She is with the South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, good morning.
All right, so just to begin here, kind of just tell me, or remind us rather, what the commission, now the WeGoja Foundation, is all about and why this rebranding effort and what's new because of it.
Well, we hope to more strongly engage the audiences we already have. We have a good audiences, but we also hope to expand who we're already talking to. In the preservation community, the African American Heritage Foundation enjoys a great reputation. WeGoja Foundation will be standing on those shoulders, trying to cast the net wider, introduce more of the state citizens to our story and mission, hope to broaden our reputation as a trusted organization for the preservation and promotion of African American heritage, and its inclusion in any discussions about South Carolina going forward. We think most South Carolinians want that, not just African Americans, but all South Carolinians. We're just not sure if they know an organization exists that can do that for them.
And so why now? Is there anything special about the timing of this rebranding effort, or just every now and then you got to refresh things and try something new?
Yeah, it is time to expand who we are. It's time for us to grow into a bigger organization, do more things. We do a lot of things already, but we want to do even more because the story about African Americans is still undertold and underappreciated, underdocumented, and undertaught. So we have our work cut out for us.
So tell us about the name WeGoja, W-E-G-O-J-A. It's an acronym. It's kind of a lot, right, but kind of break that down for us.
So WeGoja is it's an acronym of words from 3 different languages spoken by people who were brought to the new colony against their will. So it is the languages came from West Africa, the Yoruba and Wolof languages. Both of those languages help define and develop the Gullah language. Yoruba people and Wolof people populate parts of Senegal, Gambia, and Nigeria, and they still speak old languages. So we took some principled words from those languages that mean pride, culture, art, heritage, future, courage, and we took those words and developed this acronym out of this, WeGoja. One of our primary goals next year is going to be to work with the Department of Education to try to make sure teachers become more comfortable talking about African American heritage and history in South Carolina, slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights, Reconstruction, because that is an uncomfortable, those uncomfortable subjects. So we want to teach them how to talk to students about that, how to talk to families about that, so we can all be comfortable and fewer of us are uninformed, miseducated, or undereducated. So that's one of our goals. And the diversity of African American history is vast. You know, every subject that you teach in school, there is a historic property in South Carolina that can relate to it. Every historic era in South Carolina, African Americans were intimately involved in all of that. We just don't know it because history is difficult to tell in its entirety. So we tend to talk about the highlights. What we have to do is understand that African Americans were also involved in every aspect of our history. But we're not sure yet what we're going to do with the Department of Education, because that is also a vast enterprise. It's a vast government enterprise. What do they already offer teachers in terms of options for learning about our past? And so we want to understand that completely and then see how African Americans' history and heritage can be incorporated into that.
And so, of course, with the pandemic we're all in the middle of right now, has your foundation been affected in any way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So last year, when we were developing our priorities, one of our priorities was to pull together something called the Family Reunion Toolkit. We're not going to pull together a Family Reunion Toolkit because we don't want to encourage people to gather in large groups yet. We probably won't do that until next spring or summer, depending on how the pandemic evolves in South Carolina or across the world. But what it also did was give us an opportunity that we did not know we were going to do for an oral history project called Black Carolinians Speak for the pandemic. And what we did was invite African-American South Carolinians into this web portal to tell us what their experiences are with the pandemic, whether it's music, poetry, a narrative, an interview, painting, a portrait, pictures, photography, whatever. We want African-Americans to tell us how this pandemic affects them. And we've been inviting people. We thought we would get about 50. Now we're up to 75.
Wow.
And the program ends in October. So we're out to get as many broad variety of people as possible. Single mothers, families, nurses, doctors, teachers who can't go in the classroom anymore, students who miss their classroom experience, college professors, everybody. We want to know what the African-American experience has been in this pandemic. And one of the reasons why we did it is because we don't have much documented information about how African-Americans handled the Spanish flu of 1918.
And so, last question here. With this new identity for the foundation, what's on the horizon? What's next?
Our priority is work with the Department of Education. That's number one. We are going to continue to evolve into what we see are opportunities. The recent justice issues popping up across the nation, we think we need to have a voice, need to capture our voices for the historical record. We think we need to capture African-American voices for how the new normal is going to be after the pandemic is over. And, what happens to African-Americans? How do we maintain jobs? How is our unemployment? And things like that. We want to recognize the heroes in this pandemic, and what we really need is for people to understand that we need funding to get this done. So if they go to wegoja.org and they click on the Take Action button, they can see how they can help us get through this.
All right. Info at wegoja.org or call them 843-332-3589 to speak with someone directly. Don Dawson from the South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism talking about the We Goja Foundation, formerly the South Carolina African American Heritage Foundation. New identity, same great stuff, and a whole lot of new stuff as well. Thanks so much, Don.
That's right. Thank you.
All right. Have a great morning. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
On the ninth and final obstacles. Can he do it? He beat his record by 9 seconds.
Beating an obstacle course in record time? Now that's hard.
But calling 999-9999 after a car wreck? That's easy.
Call all nines now.
Summer clearance event going on now at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Over 700 Chryslers and Jeeps available. New Jeep Wrangler, $7,000 off. All Chrysler 300, $9,000 off. New Jeep Renegades, $11,000 off. New Jeep Compass, $199 per month. New Jeep Gladiator, $269 per month. Qualifying purchases with 0% APR for 72 months or no payments for 3 months. Summer clearance event at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone at GallianaSC.com.
Service, honor, sacrifice. Words our veterans live by. At WIS, we are working to give back to those who gave so much. It's what United for Veterans is all about. Our goal is to make a real difference in their lives and to connect veterans with the help they need and let them know how much we appreciate their service. You can join us on this mission. Go to wistv.com/veteran to learn more.
United for Veterans, sponsored by Bathfitter and Palmetto State Armory.
In a time of uncertainty, share the gift of hope. We created the Midlands COVID-19 Response Fund to help Midlands residents meet basic needs, including food, shelter, rent, and utility assistance due to lost wages related to COVID-19. United Way of the Midlands will distribute 100% of these funds to community impact partners in our service area. Social distancing forces us apart, but compassion defies distance. Give now at uway.org.
You were injured in a car wreck. You're drowning from lost wages and medical bills.
I better call all nines.
At George Sink Injury Lawyers, we'll fight off the sharks and get you all the money you deserve.
I'm glad I called all nines.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
And welcome back this morning. We're going to switch gears a little bit here. A local group, they just got a big boost that's going to help them continue some important work that they do, which is providing education on sexual health and teen pregnancy prevention to youth here in the Midlands. And this morning I'm joined now by the CEO of Fact Forward, Beth DeSantis. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you for joining me today. Real quickly, just tell us more about your work, which is specifically geared to reach youth of color, and what some recently acquired grant money here is going to enable you to do.
Sure. At Fact Forward, where we advance the reproductive health for especially young people, we applied for and received a pretty large-sized federal grant, and it really is geared to focus on helping young people be properly educated so that they can avoid pregnancy, decrease their chances of getting sexually transmitted infections. And our project is here in Richland as well as in Orangeburg County. And it's a research project that is testing a specific kind of way to educate youth and educate the adults that are around them, and then test it to make sure it was effective in decreasing their rates of pregnancy as well as increasing their education.
So how would you describe the gap or the disparity in the way this information is reaching youth of color as widely and as easily as it presumably may be reaching youth in the majority population? How would you describe that?
Right. So in the state of South Carolina, we've had a 70% decline in the teen birth rate, which is a great decline. But what we're seeing is a persistent difference in the birth rates of whites versus African Americans and Latinos. And so this project is specifically designed, it's called Empowered SC, creating linkages for youth of color. And it really is trying to optimize the system by which we educate the African American youth as well as Latinx youth. So with a very targeted message to try to close that gap.
And so what's that going to look like, especially right now during a pandemic? Will it be kind of a social media, kind of virtual outreach kind of a thing, or will you gather in socially distanced groups for workshops or weekends together? What's it going to look like?
Our exceptional staff did a great job of finding something that's technology-based. It's called MediaWare, and that is a platform that they can use their technology to access. So it's the kids will do it in high school as well as at some of the historically black colleges and universities, the HBCUs, in Richland, but it's also for their parents and the other adults that are in their lives. So there's the curriculum for the kids, there's the curriculum for the adults, so that the adults and the kids can talk about it, which is always important. And then it's to try to refer them and link them into care, into a health center that is ready, willing, and able to take care of the young people who need these services so desperately.
Is there anything that the pandemic has kind of opened your eyes to or exposed as it relates to this issue? Any patterns that have emerged, whether they be good patterns or challenging patterns?
Yeah, I think the thing is that families are spending a lot more time together right now than they probably normally would because of just trying to social distance and stay away from big crowds. And so we've really tried to take this opportunity to encourage parents to have good age-appropriate conversations with their kids about love, relationships, and sex. And we find over and over and over that parents really feel uncomfortable with that, with those kind of conversations. But the kids really, the research shows kids want the information from their parents, and parents feel uncomfortable talking about it. So please go to factforward.org. If you're a parent who wants information about how to talk to your kids about it. We have all kinds of trainings, we have all kinds of technical assistance, and we have lots of information on how to get the conversation started.
And how many people are you hoping to reach?
We're in a 6-month planning period right now. It's going to depend on which school systems are willing to sign on to the project and then the HBCUs. So we don't have a specific number that we would like to highlight right now, but that will come as the 6-month planning period ends and we really can put together the package to send back to the federal government.
And talking about, going back to your last point, sorry to jump around there, but you talked about how kids want this information from their parents, and parents sometimes are hesitant to have the conversation, don't know how to, maybe it's awkward, which is understandable or reasonable. Talk about some of those resources you mentioned that can be found online with you all to get those conversations started and also have them be effective.
Sure. So let me start with the project. The one that we're doing right now is called Media Aware for Parents. And so if you are a part of the project, that curriculum is designed to help you learn basically the basics and then have those conversations. If you're not a part of the project that we're working on in Richmond, and you want to go to factforward.org, there's all kinds of information about how to start the conversation, because really what you want as a parent is to be able to start the conversation, hear where your child is at the time, and be able to answer questions and have conversations that share your family values and your and what you want for your child, because it's all about your child's future. It's all about making sure they have the right information at the right time to make the right decision for their future.
This is all geared toward 15 to 19-year-olds, again, youth of color. You know, sometimes when you're that age, you think you're big and bad and the world is yours, and honestly, it's hard to see beyond high school. Some kids have a hard time seeing toward college, especially after college, what life will look like or could look like. And of course, teen pregnancy and other obstacles can change that or make it different. So how do you get the kids to look ahead and, you know, see that big picture in the future?
Right. And maybe you hit it right on the head. You know, so much of this education that we provide is with the knowledge that the adolescent brain is not done developing yet. If we were to ask, you know, young people to think ahead like we do, that's just not the right question to ask them. That's not the right thing to ask them. What we do then is we say, here's the information you need right now to make the best decision right now for you. Because they can't think about 5 years and 10 years and 20 years and make really good decisions based off of that. That's an adult conversation. We base all of our trainings and everything we do with young people and how we help parents have conversations with young people based on the adolescent brain development and what stage they are at the time.
All right.
And that's a great point. Thank you.
There's much more we could say, but there's never enough time, of course. Beth, thank you so much. You want more information or to learn more about this new grant money and what they do at Fact Forward, head to factforward.org. Thanks again, Beth.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and we'll be right back this morning on Awareness.
There's one of 3 reasons your house is too hot. First, if you live in an older home, you may not have any insulation. Second, you may have cheap, builder's-grade insulation. We can install our foam right on top of it. Third, you may only have attic insulation. You wouldn't expect to keep this drink cold just like this. You got to put it in the whole cooler. And your insulation needs to be around your whole home. Call now, and when we insulate your walls, we'll do your attic for free.
USA Insulation.
Smile.
No matter how well you provide for your family today, if you don't have life insurance, their future may be at risk. Think about what would happen if you were gone. Would they struggle to pay the bills and face an uncertain future? They don't have to. You can help guarantee those you love $200,000, $500,000, $750,000 or more with life insurance through AIG Direct. We'll help you get more for your money, up to 40% more. Just look, less than $16 a month buys a 40-year-old man a $300,000 term life policy. That's up to 3 times what you can get from other companies for the same price. No wonder millions of people rely on AIG companies. The call is free, the quote is free, and there's no obligation. Make the future more secure for those you love. Call now so you can sleep better at night.
For a free quote, call 1-800-210-3451 or visit AIGDirect.com.
When natural disasters strike, we are South Carolina strong. When our neighbors need help, we are South Carolina selfless. And when our health and safety are threatened, we are South Carolina compassionate, forgoing comfort out of concern for the greater good. We are South Carolina, and together, we can slow the spread of COVID-19 for ourselves and for each other.
Welcome back this morning to Awareness. Thanks for staying with us. Last guest this morning is Dr. Macie Smith, a local educator and gerontologist, really involved with the health and well-being of senior citizens in our community. Good morning, Macie. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, Leland. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
And you are always all over the place, so involved and trying to help as many people as you can. And you have a great you have a great thing coming up here. You're partnering with Lexington Medical Extended Care to kind of just give people some ways, ideas, and help as they deal with our older family members and friends during this pandemic. Tell us more about what's going to be happening here.
So I'm partnering with Lexington Medical Center Extended Care, and it just makes sense, Leland, because they have a department, a group of certified activity professionals who are trained to develop innovative ideas and creative ways to keep our seniors and our loved ones with disabilities engaged throughout the day. And so in the time of this pandemic and in the state of South Carolina and across the country, there still are family visitation restrictions that are mandated by the state, whereas family members and non-essential staff or non-essential individuals cannot go and visit the seniors in long-term care communities, nursing homes, and assisted livings. And so what we know is that our senior population, they are experiencing a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of helplessness, and a lot of hopelessness because they can't be engaged with their family members. And so what we're doing is ensuring that family caregivers and also professional staff in these long-term care communities know exactly how to keep our loved ones engaged, our older adults and our seniors. We can say all day long, keep them engaged, keep them active throughout the day, but you got to know how. And a lot of times, Leland, with stress and anxiety, you forget the things that you knew were right. We forget the things that we knew were most appropriate for our population. So this is a way to band together to fill that gap and to share ideas in innovative ways to keep our seniors engaged and keep their mind off the negativity and the hardships that are going on in the world today, because we want them to live a long time. We want them to have good emotional health, mental health, physical health. And we do know that with isolation comes depression, with depression comes other comorbid conditions, and it could lead to early mortality. So every Monday during the month of August, I'm partnering with the certified activity professionals at Lexington Medical Center Extended Care, and they're giving about 10, 15-minute ideas and demonstrations on how to engage your loved ones. And it's going to be airing on Facebook Live and also YouTube Live. And so people can actually engage actively and ask questions and give ideas so that way we can build together a community around our senior population and our caregivers. And every Monday at 1 p.m., if they miss the live event stream, then it will actually be saved and can be accessed as a replay on Facebook Live and also on YouTube.
So give us a little bit of a teaser, I guess. We have a few minutes here. What can we expect? What are some of those ways and things that you guys will be talking about to just really encourage those better outcomes and positive attitudes among our seniors while we're in the middle of this pandemic?
Great. So we're going to be talking about appropriate activities for individuals living with Alzheimer's and dementia, keeping them engaged in the day-to-day routine activities that don't take a lot. We're going to talk about journaling in a jar, which I thought was so creative to be able to ensure that our loved ones are engaged with telling people about their life, how it used to be, how it's going to be going forward. Because Leland, they have the best insight into the future. They've lived through various pandemics, polio, the Spanish flu, so they can give us hope as well. We're going to be talking about mentally stimulating activities, because I don't care how old you are, your mind has to always be stimulated. And so, and the last thing we're going to be talking about, cooking and kitchen ideas. Now, you know I can't cook, but I was very intrigued with that whole topic. And so it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
And again, it's happening every Monday in August, 1 p.m. on Facebook Live. And so how is it going to work? Because we're in this pandemic, everyone's socially distant, things are happening virtually. Will you be with the folks at Lexington Medical Center in the same place?
It will be remote. So the activity professionals are at Lexington Extended Care. They have their camera set up, and I'm going to be at home in my office and we're going to be talking just like you and I are talking now. And then they have the video, and they actually show them demonstrating those activities because, you know, staff still have to come to work. And that's one thing that I hope that we can move forward. And when we start opening up the nursing homes, you know, being able to put those safety measures in place for family members, immediate family members, just like we do for our essential staff that go into the long-term care community. So it will be remote. They have their video. I have my video. And then everybody will be able to see everything that we're doing.
All right, Macie, thank you so much. As always, you want to learn more, you can head to Dr. Smith's website. Okay, and again, every Monday in August at 1 p.m., partnering with Lexington Medical to have these great events. Thanks so much, Macie.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back here in Awareness.
Hello, I'm Louie Mullican, owner of Bath Fitter. We believe our veterans are the heart of the country.
And we're extremely proud to be an Operation Palmetto employer. Please join us in our effort to support our heroes through United for Veterans.
August is Big Brands Bonus Month at NGB. Save on top brands like Michelin. Right now, get $70 off 4 new select Michelin tires after mail-in rebate. And this week only, get them installed for free. Only at NGB.
Hello, I'm William Shatner. And you may not know this about me, but years ago, I was diagnosed with a sleep disorder. And like millions of others, I was prescribed sleep equipment. Did you know sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning? That's why I use SoClean. SoClean is fast and easy. It keeps my sleep equipment fresh every day without the need for disassembly.
With SoClean, daily maintenance is a snap. All you do is place your equipment in, close the lid, and walk away. That's it. You can try SoClean risk-free for 30 nights. Even shipping is free.
SoClean is so fast and gives you peace of mind that your sleep equipment is fresh each time you use it.
Call 1-800-295-5230 or go to SoClean.com to take advantage of this risk-free trial. Call 1-800-295-5230 now. So fast, so easy, so clean.
I'm Jamie Harrison, and I approve this message.
What happened to Lindsey Graham? He's been living large while South Carolina suffers. Lindsey spent nearly $1 million on fancy trips, private planes, golf outings, and gave himself 3 pay raises. Here at home, people are hurting, but Lindsey refuses to extend COVID unemployment assistance.
Over our dead bodies, this will get reauthorized.
Lindsey Graham takes care of Lindsey Graham. But what about the rest of us?
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much to my guests for joining me. Have a great rest of your Sunday.